it's a reflection of society. If we keep putting up these nude pictures, or we keep liking skits that are about being rude to wives and husbands, or disrespecting a child, or a parent disrespecting an elder, or a child playing a prank on someone, and we all like these things and we keep laughing at it, you're telling the so-called algorithm, this is funny, give me more of this. And so the person making it thinks, oh, well, look, everyone seems to like it, let me make more of this. So it's a reflection really of society, and so it should tell us how damaged we are.
True.
Bismillah, and welcome to another episode of The Bridge. Today we want to tackle the conversation that we are all probably watching this on, which is social media and all forms of media that many of us are consuming day in, day out. The pros, the cons, the good, the bad, the ugly. Let's get into it. So, obviously, you know, apart from you, Imam, everyone else uses social media in this world. So, and
take me down, bro. It's just, you know,
we need to put Imam Shakir on social media, man. That's the next move, huh? We need to get you on social media, Sheikh. Big Shaq.
MashaAllah.
But obviously, it's a big topic, one that governments are even trying to solve now by putting in certain parameters with regards to youngsters using it, due to obviously the algorithms that are in there, meaning someone can put up, and you know what, they might not even put anything bad up, but something is suggested to them, they kind of like it, or they spend a bit longer than they would on another topic. And so this so-called algorithm, can't say it properly, this algorithm seems to push more of that same idea to them. And so you get to a stage where you start to think this is your idea. Do you get it? Mm-hmm. And so that's obviously 100% one of the issues. There's obviously the issue of the facade world that we're seeing now, where someone comes online, says, I'm this, that. 7-8 months later, you find out they're not this, that. And that could be they're licensed in this, that could be they make this amount of money, that could be whatever, but you find out that that's not true. Another topic on that is some people that act like they got the best marriage. And then you find out actually they've been having issues all this time and now they're divorced, and this one had 4 wives and whatever. So I think there is obviously a lot of negatives. There are also, from my end, a lot of positives, whether it comes from the Philistine movement with Gaza and how many people have supported it based on social media. And had social media not been there, God knows what the numbers would be over there right now, and the sympathy for them. Mm-hmm. And so when you understand it in that kind of context, what's your position, Sheikh?
I think the points you mentioned, valid. The only pushback would be the harms outweigh the benefits. Yeah. And just from the angle of, okay, you said algorithms, you know, people being influenced. My worry, we've had discussions on parents, yeah, you know, co-parents, you know, marriage breakdown. Yeah, the influences on the mum or the dad or the husband and wife from negative influences. Imagine youngsters being influenced by social media. And you tell me in terms of the benefit. Yeah, you mentioned Philistine, alhamdulillah, and there is benefit. Yeah, and other things, knowledge, scholars, you know, teachers, lectures, and so on. But how much of that social media or the internet brings that benefit? Mm-hmm. And how much harm is it bringing to youngsters kids? Remember the control of it. There used to be a time, okay, you know, you control things, parents have access to control. How much is that there with parents? I'm sure kids are more savvy concerning social media and controls than their parents, you know, and so on. So the harm coming to kids, a lot of this harm is of sexual nature, yeah, which damages the mind, damages the heart, damages the faith, the iman, and so on. So that's my kind of, like, you could say, pushback and worry. And you mentioned, okay, something you can't stop. It's already kind of like, what was the phrase you used?
Just
the horses.
The horses.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, damage control, controlling, limiting. How can you do it? I think in Australia, I think this year, September, they're going to start like banning kids under 16 being on social media. Positive. Big positive. Don't think you're ready for those algorithms of social media at that young age. So that's, I think, a start. And then some sort of training to be able to use it in the right way at your later years when you become an adult.
Yeah, I think having some form of regulation is key. Similar to when you build a car, there are manuals involved. How to use it, oil changes, filters, etc., etc. Sadly, most people don't use it nowadays, but it's there with a manual. Do you get what I mean? Similar with a gun. You can't just give anyone a gun. You have to go through some form of licensing. I think that's definitely one of the forms, and it's getting there. My position, obviously, is that, and I've said it before, and one of the brothers reminded me now, is that it is the knife situation. And it's also a reflection of society. I say it's the knife situation because, like anything in life, you can use it to wield bad or you can use it to wield good. It depends on who's wielding this knife. If it's a mum, she's cooking up some good food. If it's a kid, he's a bit confused and he's going up. So it's who is wielding it and who do we allow to wield it, and which is the conversation you're having about with regards to the government getting involved. But then also the other part is it's a reflection of society. If we keep putting up these nude pictures or we keep liking skits that are about being rude to wives and husbands or disrespecting a child or a parent disrespecting an elder or a child playing a prank on someone, and we all like these things and we keep laughing at it, you're telling the so-called algorithm, this is funny, give me more of this. And so the person making it thinks, oh, well, look, everyone seems to like it, let me make more of this. So it's a reflection really of society. And so it should tell us how damaged we are.
True. And that's the point. Look at the harm of it then. Because everybody is damaged. Now you're going to play a part in the algorithm to cause further damage. And what does it do? What's the end result? The end result is we see, you know what? Degeneracy.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I read articles and I'm thinking, you know what? These are just articles. And it might be about a movie or an actor or an actress. And I'm just reading it and I just see degeneracy. Imagine a youngster watching this on social media and so on.
Yeah.
And then if we say it is degeneracy, what is it going to lead to in 5, 10? Are we then taking part in the destruction of society through degeneracy? So again, I'm not saying that there is no benefit. You know, Palestine is an example that you kind of like cited. You know, what's happened in Gaza, because the mainstream media was not showing it, but it's people through social media that showed this. You know, so yes, there is, but compare that to the other side, big difference.
Yeah. If we was to play a game and say social media didn't exist, what would be the benefits then? Because obviously you've lived in a time,
MashaAllah,
since Allahu A'lam when, but you've lived in a time when there was no social media. You've lived in a time when there was 1 to 5 channels and before probably TV. I don't know, Sheikh, you gotta let me know how far we go back, but you've lived in a certain time. What would you compare now to your life when you was younger to now?
He's had a good day today. And I think, you know what, probably oppressed a lot of his employees, made a lot of money from them and his clients. That, mashallah, coming on a nice hype today. Well done.
Was that a good joke then? You liked it?
It's a good joke. It's a good joke.
No worries, Sheikh. But yes, on a serious note, obviously you've seen a bit of life. Yeah. Now that you can see the consequences of this social media and you've lived in a world where it wasn't social media, what would be your comparisons?
Big difference.
Okay.
And you know what? I say it in 2 ways, yeah. So one is sometimes you just turn on Arab media, ulama, scholars, and hear the nonsense they're talking.
Of today?
Today, now.
Okay.
And I always tell sometimes some imams say, look, what's going on? If this is the imams, like a discussion on Imam Nawawi, you know, 40 hadith, Riyadh al-Salihin, you know, fiqh majmu', you know, explanation of the most extensive explanation of Sahih Muslim. The discussion was, is he a kafir? A whole discussion, it was like 3 hours maybe.
Is he a kafir? Yeah. Is he a non-Muslim?
Is he a non-Muslim? Yeah, ridiculing Imam Abu Hanifa. You know, he's saying, look, this tool isn't even for these people. And they're supposed to be learned. Imagine somebody is not learned. Just see the damage it's doing. Yeah. And all this, okay, your countries are bordered to Gaza. And you still find time to do this? It shows me the problem of, social media in this age, which wasn't there, a bit before. The other side is, in terms of, if we are looking at solution-wise, some serious education and guidelines from an Islamic perspective. I believe, sincerely, alhamdulillah, I'm a Muslim, but Islam brings the solutions. There's got to be Islamic guidelines to some of what's happening on social media and how it's being used. One guideline, the issue of ego. Yeah. Are you there to give a message, or are you there calling to yourself? It might even be you're teaching Islamic studies. Are you teaching Islamic stuff for people to understand Islam, or is it's all about you? And sometimes I think social media just makes it. Everything's just about you. So that in itself becomes a problem. So now if somebody says something wrong with you, wow, he can curse Islam, but no problem, but he's cursing me. That becomes an issue. So I'm going to challenge this. I'm going to go out. And even when I respond, it becomes transgression and so on. So, knowledge, understanding, guidelines, principles, Islamic values, so that people use that tool. Like you said, it can be like a knife, used in the right way or the wrong way. So use it in the right way.
I think, obviously, I asked you the question with regards to reflection. I also lived in a time when there was no social media. So we're both, we got something.
Finally.
We got something coming. There's grey hairs coming through. Yeah, I'm reaching your age, Sheikh. Maybe another 30 years. And
inshallah, you'll have a comfortable life with all your pressure you don't
all the pressure I cause,
yeah? Employees, yeah.
Don't worry, I'll get them on here to talk about me. If I go back, because I'm trying to think of solutions as I'm talking about this. So my reflection is more, how was my life, benefits and pros and cons, to see what the difference of my life today is. If you threw away social media, for me personally, it makes no difference to my life personally. If tomorrow they said, oh, no more Instagram, no more TikTok, my life doesn't decrease in any shape, way or form. And I say that to say, because I've also lived a life to some degree of no social media. So I know what life was like to knock on my friend's door and say, yo, let's play outside, bro. Do you get what I mean? I know what it's like to play out for 7-8 hours of the day and just sweat, fun, come home, eat, families there. They obviously had a TV at that time. My time, there was a TV. So there was that coming home and sitting under
what TV as well. You're looking at me.
Okay, sorry. I didn't know. Maybe, we might be going back a few years with your one. I don't know. But we had a TV. And so there was this community type of, let's sit in front of a TV and eat together. There was that, which is still there today. I kind of do see today now everyone's on their screens eating on the same table. So that, let's enjoy, even though for me, that's the lowest form of spending time, by the way. Like to spend time in front of a TV as a family, eating pizza wherever you're eating, is the lowest form of spending time, because you're not really interacting, but you're reacting to what you're seeing on TV. You might laugh, you might be scared, and whatever you're watching on TV. Whereas now everyone's in their own little world. And this one might be watching suicide issues. That one's clowning about some football. That one's watching some hairdo. Everyone's in their own little world in this house, having their own experiences that they don't even bring back together, because none of that connects. So that's a division of the family, really. Like what we like together ain't even really there now, because we all like different things and we don't even bring it together.
So it's a good point. I mean, we've had a discussion on being parents. Connect this to that.
Yeah.
Let's say there is now, for example, a breakdown in a relationship and dad's not around. On top of that,
you have this phone.
You have this phone. Mom's not even around.
She's there, but she's not there.
She's there, but she's not there because she's on her phone, social media. Kids are on their social media. Siblings, an older sibling who might say, let me look after my younger brother or my younger sister. He's busy in his own room with his own thing. Can you see where it leads to? And also if somebody says, maybe you were alluding to this, you know what? They can't live without it because it's become such a norm.
Yeah.
That in itself is a problem. To make yourself feel that I'm so reliant on this that I can't even live without this. And that's why sometimes when you lose your phone, what happens? Person goes, panic. What am I going to do? Everything's on it. Not healthy.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So I think part of the solution could be get rid of it. Really, that's my point. I'm saying, for me, even though we're saying it's bolted, long term, depending on the outcomes, you wouldn't lose any sleep for me anyway if they got rid of it. Does it help in business? To some degree it helps, but people was winning work prior to social media. There's still Google, there's still door-to-door knocking, there's still many ways to make money. That's, for me, one of my reasons I'm really on there is for money making. And the other side is Islam, push the deen, give advice in different ways, obviously, but there has to be a purpose to be on there. If you're just on there doom scrolling, literally show, and look, think of it from another perspective. Your brain is seeing so much. I tested it. I think I've done it maybe a couple of months ago. I can't remember, but I said, let me just doom scroll and see what I can remember. I couldn't remember one thing, bro. I couldn't remember one idea. And then the thing with TikTok you can do is look back at, say, anything you've liked. So it shows you like, I'm like, I never liked that. How did I like this? Why did I like that? I'm questioning myself. How did I? So what is it doing to your brain when you keep watching something like, not like? In essence, what your brain is learning is what? Is this kind of, what did they say about the dementia? Similar to dementia, basically. You know, dementia, you easily forget things. And so the more you use this type of, I don't know what you want to call it, and social media platforms, the more in the future, I'm telling you, dementia is going to be up there because you're not retaining anything. They say usually the people that have that type of dementia is because there wasn't well, I'm not going to knock it. A lot of people that retain things have a higher likelihood of not catching dementias. Let me put it that way. People who retain things in life, whether that's memorizing like in our way of life, whether that's through business, you have to remember names, whether that's through reading books, whether that's through learning things regularly, those people who use their brain far more effectively in their younger lives tend not to have dementia in their future lives. Now think about it in a social media world. If you're scrolling most of your life, you're not retaining anything. So all that's in your head is a fog idea of something and how it made you feel more than what do you remember, because you don't remember those quotes. You just remember maybe the feeling of the quote or an action that happened or a joke that you saw. So what does that it make you in the future? You're likely to get dementia because you didn't retain anything in your younger years. So for me, I agree with you personally. It probably has more problems and more issues than it has solutions.
And they've realized that. So look, you know, an average movie was how long?
1 hour, 40, 50 minutes.
1 hour, 45 minutes, 2 hours. Okay, they kind of like said, look, that's too long. So if you want movies, Netflix comes about. Okay, it's in 3 parts, 4 parts.
And you're watching more.
You're probably watching more, but you know what? It's kind of like shorter time.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, if that's, too long for you, videos on Facebook maybe. They say, look, each time, you know, is it not, what was the other one? Twitter or X, former Twitter, it's a bit shorter. TikTok is a bit more shorter because people's ability to kind of like, concentrate is getting less and less. And like you said, there's sometimes I ask these youngsters, so you're watching all of these, you spent 4 hours on, TikTok. Yeah. What was the one before? Forget the one which is 10 videos before.
The one before.
Just the one before, they don't know. So you can see the damage it's causing. Then you got the issue of mental health because expectations of what you see, the fakeness of social media.
Yeah.
That we sometimes kind of like experience or see others involved in it because of the ego and the fakeness. You're not really out there to bring about positivity. It's just about money. It's just about ego. What does that do? For the youngsters and so on. So all of these, and then when you can't reach those expectations that you're seeing from other influencers, brings about mental health problems. So there's a big negative. But again, I think your initial point, it's there. How can we find solutions to deal with it in a good way?
Yeah, so obviously we try to find some solutions, and part of solutions is looking at what is the problem. We just went through the problems and we said ego. We said a lack of retention in information, which means you don't really read or study. And I would definitely link a purpose of life to it, which then brings about your way of life, which for us, obviously, is Islam. If you don't have that, problematic, because you're just going to look at everything. There's no purpose to anything.
Iman. as a guiding force. Iman meaning faith for the non-Muslims, that, okay, I'm accountable for what I see.
Yeah.
I'm accountable for what I put out.
What I hear.
On the day of, I'm accountable for what I hear. On the day of judgment, Allah's going to bring me, God Almighty is going to bring me account to this. I've got to make sure what I put out is within boundaries. I've got to make sure what I see and hear is within boundaries. I think very, very important. You know, so that's kind of like another kind of like element
That's a
to
good
it.
point. I think that's a very good point. The like I said, for me, it was obviously Islam.
Yeah.
But if you link it to Iman, which is the higher level of that, which is you're conscious that there's a creator who everything you do in life is accounted for. And sometimes, you know, for those faithless people, I don't know how else to put it, faithless, you don't have faith, I don't know. But those people who don't have any faith, you ask yourself, you make phone calls. Like, I was in crime once upon a time, right? So if you do a crime, police have something called cell site. Yeah? So you might say, I wasn't there. It wasn't me, boss. All right, cool, let's take your phone. And then they go through your phone says, well, actually, your phone shows you was in SE8, mate, in that particular corner. You're now guy in prison and doing a sentence. Now, the reason I link that to is because that's something you can't see. It's something in the air that human beings way before us put some cables up in the air, whether satellites, whatever, and we can see who you speak to, for how long you've spoken to, where you was located, doing what. If you believe in that, why don't you think there's a creator far above that who has other amenities that can write down what you see, what you do, everything? Because we've got that logic here. That logic is right in front of us. We're using it right now. And other human beings can tap into this. And sometimes that's why I think to talk to non-Muslims, you think there isn't something far above that allows you other things to write down everything that you do every single day of your life. And if you're conscious of that way, you're more conscious of what you see, what you like, because what you like is what's repeated. So if I like a particular woman dressing and I like this, I know I like another clown, or I like another person who's a speaker, or if I like a whatever gym person, then that's what's repeated. So my point I'm making this is we need to be God conscious people. If you're a God conscious person, then this app, even though it has a lot of negatives, but the negatives are based on what? How you use it. So if you use it in a correct form, this now thing becomes a positive thing. Because why we're putting up positive things, people making money in the right way, helping people, not about ego, not about knocking people, not about showboating, not about showing nakedness, not about any of this stuff. And it's about pure upliftment.
100%. And I think good point there, Abdul Latif, for the Muslims, specifically for the Muslims, to be those individuals with high standards.
Yeah.
That you shouldn't be spreading degeneracy at all. Now look at Mufti Menk as an example. Hafidhullah. The khair, the goodness he spreads.
Yeah.
And of course, we've had people come to the masjid from social media, heard about Islam, watched Mufti Menk, Dr. Zakir Naik, maybe even went on TikTok and learned about Islam here and there and came and took Shahada. Yeah. But be those. Don't be the other side. Be those. The other thing, as a guidance for those who are involved, and it's youngsters and adults, limit your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even through, like for example, for some, the social interaction is just through social media.
Yeah.
There's no face-to-face interaction. So some people don't know how to face-to-face communicate with another person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or physically, you're not doing anything physically. Everything, your entertainment is just there. Rather than, okay, go out, play some football, play some basketball, do some boxing, do some martial arts and so on. Yeah, big negative if that's not being done. And that also, your time or my time, things were outside.
Yeah.
You did things.
Far more interactive world.
Yeah. So these youngsters, FIFA, they're excellent. But play football, you can't. NBA on the PlayStation, they're good. But can you play basketball? No. And that physical also well-being connects with emotional, mental well-being also. So, yeah.
Yeah, as you was talking, what came to my mind is that film and the Truman Show. You watched the Truman Show?
No, I haven't seen it.
Sheikh doesn't, I'm telling you, Sheikh lives somewhere else. The Truman Show basically is Jim Carrey.
Okay.
And what he does in this movie, basically, it's a movie based on people watching him every single day. He doesn't know he's in a movie.
Okay.
and people are watching him. So every day his life is the same. He sees the same people, the same sunlight comes at the right time, goes down at the right time. Everything is just perfect world. Obviously lots of little issues, but it's like an EastEnders, but he doesn't know he's in EastEnders.
Wow.
Do you get it? And so I think, and this is the thing about human beings is we manifest what we think about. We made this movie was made years ago. And that's the reality of today. That's what we're living in. Where I will see a brother and he'll be like, it's like I know what you've been doing. It's not even like I show my life. I just show boys. Sometimes like that day we went basketball. Like, man, should go can hoop or just little snippets of what we're doing. But the person won't ring you to be like, yo, Akhi, I see you. How you doing, Akhi? What's going on? Let's go and eat. I've seen you. That's it. And so I'll see him months later. And he'll be like, but it's like I see you every day though. So what I say this to say what? It gives you this false narrative that you're part of that person's life. When in reality, you're not that part of that person's life.
Deep.
Do you get it, man?
Yeah.
And so you might see me afar and think, I'm thinking of you, but I ain't thinking of you, bro, because you didn't ring me. If I know I put up wherever I put up for my friends or whatever, you didn't ring me and say, yo, Akhi, let's link up. Or I didn't even think of you. Now, if you did ring me, we would have more of a everyday interaction. And that person that holds feelings sometimes, I do meet some brothers like, you don't ring me, you don't page me. I'm busy, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But if you thought of me, you should have rang me. If you was the one thinking of me, you should have rang me, then I would have linked you.
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean about, that's the other issue, is that it gives you a false narrative
100%.
of what, that you're like, you're cool with a person, that you're friends with a person, because you like their little things, you think that person's gonna see, oh, Jamal's liked me, Khadija's liked me. Oh, actually, if you got hundreds of followers, you're not even seeing that person's like.
Yeah.
So again,
But also, what does it do for the other person?
a false sense of followership, likes.
100 people have liked me. They might have just ticked it or whatever it is. But they don't even kind of like know you like that or like you like that. But it builds up boosts your ego and so on. All based upon what? A fake reality.
I think the conclusion is let's ban social media. That's the conclusion as we keep speaking. But on a serious note, I think the solutions we're saying is it's going to stay because it's there. Unless tomorrow all electric goes and there's no internet. Walillahi alhamd if that happens. But if it doesn't, a solution from my end is, starting from our way of life, is understand the purpose of life. If you have a purpose of life, then you have a guidance in life that shows you wrongs and rights and morals, that guides your eyes, your ears, your step and everything that you do.
100%.
So when you think like that, even though you do have this phone and even though it has negative effects to some degree, just like at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, you heard of companions in situations where there was a lot of things happening, they knew how to maneuver around it. There will always be sins, there will always be bad things happening in the world. But a person who's a bit more conscious of life and the purpose of life knows how to maneuver around them rather than getting stuck and being part of the Titanic and falling down like everyone else would be my first solution.
Yeah, and in knowing the haram for you in terms of putting out, that if you are a Muslim and you have that faith, that iman, that consciousness, then be careful what you put out, because you're going to be taking part in that algorithm and bringing about degeneracy. But also what you watch and what you consume, that's important. But also in terms of, understanding, and I think was it Truman Show?
Yeah, the Truman Show,
yeah. Understanding the fakeness what's out there. That sometimes you're putting someone on a platform, and this comes back to, look, you know what? Very important, especially for the Muslims or even for the non-Muslims.
Yeah.
You've got people in history who are good. Learn about them, read about them, be influenced by them. Our messenger, Prophet Muhammad, Isa alayhi salam, Jesus Christ, Musa, Moses, peace be upon him, Abraham, and so on. Because there's people out there, 100% fake. They might even say they're good Muslims, but they're out there to make money, out there to dupe, out there to con, and we're seeing it. Eventually, Allah exposes them. Yeah. And you're taking them as a role model. Yeah. So they're going to lead you down a path which is not good because they themselves are corrupt and so on. So understand who you are going to be influenced by. That's very important.
Yeah. And a third one I would add to that would be get busy. Get busy. The last month or so, I'm usually a busy person, to be fair, but the last month or so, I've been so busy. Usually I post like probably 4 or 5 times a week. Just because I have a bit more time, things are easier. Like you said, I've got so many workers that I don't have to do any work, Sheikh.
No, you're driving around,
according to you,
driving around making sure the workers are doing the work.
Yeah, according to you, I do no work.
Be honest, bro.
But I've been so busy because I started another thing. I don't even think I've gone on there. I've not put anything. Not that, again, I see that as a positive thing because I'm putting up things that are to some degree beneficial to people.
So we need to check that, bro.
Yeah,
Brothers,
I
can you
can give you the
check this,
pass. I can give you the password, Sheikh. Yeah, there's no benefit to me per se, but get busy. If you're a busy person, whether it's in your business, you're so busy, whether it's in seeking knowledge, you're so busy, whether it's family time, you're so busy, being with your friends even. If you're a friend social person, it's social media. If you're a friendly person, then be out with your friends doing an activity that actually bonds you. Because that's what bonds us. When we go football, boxing, traveling around the world, that's the bond. The bond isn't seeing me in a video and liking it and then moving on to the next thing and then you've forgotten what happened anyway yesterday. Get busy with living life. And social media should be a very small percentage of your time.
Just thought of something, sometimes people meet on podcasts or through social media and you would assume they're so good friends.
Yeah.
Then a month later, they're attacking one another.
I know that point, yeah.
You say, wait a minute,
you lot were just in a podcast together.
What's going on? This doesn't make sense. Here you are together, now you are kind of like enemies. So it just shows you that's not bonding, that's not a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even it's not sincere in the sense that you probably get involved in social media for, what's the word? Clout, subscribers, views, followers, and so on. So it's not for the sake of Allah and true friendship. Yeah, so it shows you, the fakeness of it.
No, I agree. So yeah, that was my third point, unless you want to add.
Yeah, and the government guidelines. I think government needs to kind of like look into this, especially for youngsters and kids, in terms of very young kids should not be on social media because of the negative influences it has.
Yeah.
So something that they can look into. Yeah, like I think Australia and other places find some, restrictions which can be applied, inshallah.
Yeah, I think there's obviously plenty more things that can be added on there, similar to like we said about the knife. Knife is only sold to certain people.
Yeah,
it's not sold to everyone. And maybe because I don't really see a lot of negative things like that, 'cause that's not my forte. But for those putting up certain things, there should be prison charges, similar to those who watch other things in other houses and they get caught, they get arrested for it. If you're putting up certain things that can, call people to do bad things, that should be, and whether you want to call it censoring. But I do believe in a world where, and the problem is, look, because no one trusts the government, people don't like the word censoring, because then if the government is for one side, they're going to censor the things that are on the opposite side of them, and vice versa. But if it was a just, ideal system, then the government would be people who knows what's good for their society to some degree, and so would censor what they think is good or bad for their society.
Some things should be known, man. Some things should be understood. So I'm not just coming from an Islamic perspective, but look, read this article of a woman. Was it 1,000? I think it was 1,000.
Oh Lord, I know you're going.
Yeah, 1,000.
Baby Blue, what's her name? Something Blue, Bonnie Blue.
Okay, so in terms of what does that show?
Why put it up there?
Yeah, why is that being promoted? Why is that even? What's that going to lead to?
Degeneracy. Even on that topic, I don't know if we've got time for that, but see, when we talk about that topic of putting out degenerate stuff, which a lot of men do and which a lot of women do, this woman that you're talking about, a lot of, and it's a side note, it's not the main topic we're talking about, a lot of people are knocking her. And I can see why they're knocking her. You've slept with 1,000 men plus. For me, what I'm knocking is the men lined up. That's what I'm knocking personally. You're the men. And I always have this conversation with Imam, and we spoke about the whole feminist and thing. It's the men. You're the one lining up. 1,000 men was in. Think of the 1,000th man. You've just had 999 people in front of you, bro. So it's the men, the degeneracy, I'm telling you, Sheikh, starts with the men. When we talk about pornography, who's the clients? It's men. We're looking at the woman who's doing the act, but who's she doing it for?
Probably the industry who's controlled by men.
It's men.
Yeah.
This is my point. So the degeneracy starts from a lot of flipping men. Like they're the ones out there seeking it. And then we talk about the results of the women doing these things, but she's doing it because there's a clientele. When we talk about drug dealers, yeah, the drugs are bad, but drug addicts, you have to ask yourself, why are you taking it as well?
Yeah.
Simple. You can't just run away from the drug addicts and say, well, the drug dealers are bad. Of course, drug dealers are bad, but they wouldn't also do it if there wasn't no clientele. Do you get it? Mm-hmm. It's a side, obviously, topic, but I think part of that degeneracy starts with men. If we're going to link it to social media, if we're saying it's a what's the word for it now? Men rule the world. What's the word for that? Yeah. What do they say when men rule the world, man? There's a word for it. If it's a patriarch society that we live in, then where does the responsibility lay? It lays on men. It lays on men to stand up, to say, look, social media needs to stop. Those in power, those who've created these, social media apps, to come up, stand up, change their mindset, change their characteristics, for them to change how the app works as well. Mm-hmm. It's another linkage, but I think we've reached maybe as far as we can with this topic. If we've missed anything, as usual, add it on the comments. We don't ask for no follows. If you follow, you follow. Wa jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.